Hi, this is me and Get Real. This is Sunday. I don't know. I feel like yesterday I was saying it was Sunday. So there was a item at work. So that means there was 2 events at the store, but she gave me only one. So I was pretty disappointed, but I didn't want to be at the store. But I need my paycheck to be more than 1 day work. It wears my body out. So I I wanted to just check in. There's three little things. So not little, 3 things, 3 topics, I guess. So one is just thinking about your life. So this lady was in the elevator and she was like, I never wear a coat here. I've never worn a coat here. It's never been cold. If I had to wear a coat, I never zipped it up. And like right now, I'm freezing. And I'm like, my window's open too big because I'm burning incense. But I'm like, our family is white, Native American, black. So I think a lot of our people come from where it's warm. And this lady said, oh, I went to somewhere mild and came back and then started wearing a coat. Like, it wasn't cold until I came here. But I didn't know what she was talking about. I was trying not to eavesdrop, but I couldn't help it. She was really into the conversation. And I think about if you're European, Northern European, Norwegian, from Sweden or something, you're where it's cold and dark and you're active. Growing up in Michigan, as a black person, I was freezing day and night all the time. I was sick all the time. I got beaten because I was sick all the time. I was freezing. There was no heat in my room. For the 15 years that I lived in that room, that I slept in that room, the heater's been broken since day one. And I kept telling my mom, the heater's broken, the heater's broken, the heater's broken. She never believed me when I talked. Plus, why would she care? It's like mommy dears. And then after I moved out, they're like, oh yeah, we had the guy come in and the heater was a radiator heater. The baseboard or the wallboard ones and copper pipes. I guess it's baseboard. And they were all locked to my room. So this house was like 4,000 square foot with a basement, finished basement with carpet, wood panel walls, and a real ceiling covering all with copper piping. And that whole house, including the attached garage, were all heated except for my room. And I was sick all the time. I was freezing, and my mom never believed me. And we took one visit, and after I moved out, oh, yeah, you were right all those years that you're freezing. Then I would get sick all the time. And then I'd get beaten for being sick because my mom said I didn't wash my hands. People say, oh, you're not going to get sick because you're out in the cold and this and that. But your body gets strained and stressed. And when your body's strained and stressed, it's like you're taking a test. When things settle down a bit, your immune system is weakened, but you're vulnerable to more microbes you're exposed to than just killing them off right away. Usually certain people are extremely healthy frequently, but stressful event, boom, they're knocked out. I know a lot of people that get pneumonia and bronchitis and all this stuff, and then they're coughing up lungs and they're like spitting out blood, and you're like, why are you sitting next to me? Like, oh, I'm not contagious right now. Like, I don't know if you're contagious right now, so I'm not gonna take an air sample and test, but body is still like out of whack. So right now, the end of September, it's like everything. People that go on vacation, which is not me, and their kids go on vacation, they come back to school. Teachers come back to school. The roads are crowded. There's more shopping. People are starting to get ready for holidays. They got ready for school shopping, school clothes, buying college kids cars and refrigerators and microwaves and all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, Halloween's coming. Alright, people have back to school night. People have get their kids in play, soccer practice, blah 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 blah. It's like it's getting darker and darker and darker, and we're out more and more and more. So as the days and the weeks go on, there's more and more people coughing season. And I remember doing births And I remember the second year being like, wow, the summer was nice. It was like, it wasn't freezing. People had gardens in their backyards. They could ask you to go pick, like, we got too many tomatoes and peppers. Go pick as many as you want. Fresh eggs for the kids, stuff like that. I have to clean my house, and I shouldn't have listened to my neighbor because I put in a maintenance request for the carbon monoxide detector, excuse me, and the electricity thing, and like this messy people online, or these hoarders, they didn't have running water, broken toilets, electricity was damaged, and it's just like, you don't want anybody in your house. And it sucks because, like, some of these people, there's a big life change or a big life event or traumatic experience or injury or sickness or all the above, where you used to be able to clean and straighten and declutter, and something happens. Like, I used to still have a lot of stuff, but I used to be able to clean and declutter frequently and before this car accident, and now I just feel like I don't know what the heck to do. So I think I don't want to do it, but I want to have a 99-cent sale for real in my business. So basically, like, these shorts are like probably right around a little less than a pound. So between clothes and books, if it's, even if I pay $200 for the book, it's like, God, if it costs, I have a couple that's 2 books, like, so say it's like gonna be like $6, $7 for the books to ship. So let's say it's $7. Let's say it's $6. Then I'm gonna sell it for $6.99. I don't want to do this. I have clothes. Let's say I want to sell it, this pair of shorts, for 99-cent sale, and it costs me, let's say it costs 12 ounces, or it weighs 12 ounces. Let's say that's $4. So I would sell it at $4.99. Now, all of the stuff I'm selling, most of the stuff I'm selling is I bought new. So I'm really sad about selling it. I don't go to the bins and buy stuff at a pound, 50 cents, $1, $2. Ooh, discount day, $2 to $4 to $7. It's like I bought this stuff retail, and if I did buy it from the Goodwill, I paid a lot for it because they're not cheap here. The lady from Oregon up the street showed her cost of goods from the Goodwill, and people are like, "Oh my God, your Goodwill is twice that." So let's say it's like a black shirt. They had black shirts, button-up shirts, even with stains on them. I needed one with a collar for women, $19.99 used, and H&M was $19.99 new, and Target, I got one, it's all wrinkled up. But so if this lady's saying it's double, then it'd probably be $9.99. Still a lot for a thrift store. I think that was ridiculously overpriced. If they want to be expensive, $9.99 would be expensive, and then make it half off to $5, you know. But it is what it is. So I should have written down my topics. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's one thing. So I was thinking how growing up north and learning history and learning about slaves picking cotton and working outside in the heat, they had tried to use Native Americans, and Native Americans were not able to keep up that strenuous work, even with being beaten. So if you go back far enough in history, they tried to use Native Americans, and they couldn't sustain that level of work for that many hours. So they came and had blacks come, and from Africa, and down south where it's also hot and humid, you're working, not getting paid, getting beaten, getting raped, all this stupid stuff, getting castrated. God, I don't want to just bring this up. It's really a disgusting treatment. I'm so sad. Sorry for butchering that word. Butchering is not a good word to use. Let's just drop that. So, I was thinking, growing up north and reading history about the north had industry. They also had all the factories and the pollution. So you would ship that cotton, all that textiles up, make paper, make clothing. I don't know, wood comes somewhere, stuff goes up and down the Mississippi River, whatever. I don't know much about that. So you have industry, you have people thinking, before computers, you have people writing and thinking and banking and dressing up. In New York City, you have all that activity and dressing up like people say civilized. Someone was making fun of this guy's name. It sounded like an African American name. And he wrote a bunch of other names like Shaniqua and all this. They're like, oh, well, this is great to name. This is in my newspaper this morning. This is great that these people make it easy for them to get a job with names like that and become part of the civilized world. Okay, this is what makes me mad. I came from a black family. Like, both parents came from inner city black families. My families are all educated, at least bachelor degree or above. I have a doctoral level degree. My family was like, I'm like the black sheep of the family, the one with the doctoral level degree. My family was always driving luxury cars, getting the car washed at least once a week, living in big mansion type houses. Like, I mean, 4,000 square foot is not really a mansion, but when you're from that small of a town, people were like, oh my God, when I'm in your house, I'm lost. I don't know what, there's all these hallways and directions, and there was like corridor, like this would be a one color pattern carpet, and then the wallpaper would change. It was really kind of nice. There was different decor. I mean, you had, of course, the bedrooms that had their own type of, you had the master suite that was luxurious, and all the stuff that I was used to. And we had parents like super clean freaks. Clean your laundry. You wear this one time per half an hour to go to the wash. I'm not saying they're wasteful. It's just like, you bathe, you wash your hair, you cut your nails, you polish your shoes, you wash your clothes, your underwear. I never would have thought to rewear socks because I don't have any clean. I never would have thought that. Now I'm like, oh my God, just grab whatever I can find. I got to get out the door. This is like me waking up. I couldn't sleep. I was sick last night. I woke up, I had nothing on. And I had to throw some clothes on so I don't scare my children. So I ended up having to take my daughter to work while walking. Put this on. I'm freezing. I put this on just because it was sitting here. So it's like, this would not have been allowed in my family. Just get up and throw clothes on in 3 minutes and a pair of pants and throw, my undergarments don't fit. I was like, I had to go to the store. I was like, all weirded out by that. And so I was like, if my mom would have been like me and she didn't bathe and do her hair and put makeup on, she would not leave the house. She wouldn't be like, oh my God, I'm out of eggs. I'm going to run to the corner market and get eggs. She would be like, I'm not going to go till Monday. Like, if it's Saturday, she'll just be like, I'll do without eggs. Or she would have to go through 2 hours of getting dressed and putting on clean clothes and preparing her tea. Like, all of this. Everything was clean. We had less clutter than I have here. I had a lot of storage space, so that's where I learned not to get rid of stuff. And they had, you make dinner, everything my mom make from scratch. Wash your hands, wash everything right away. There's no like cutting board with an ice in it on it until after dinner. It's already been put away or washed in the dishwasher or whatever. I didn't even see stuff that the stuff I don't remember seeing when I did the dishes. By the time it was after dinner, it was just like the plates and the cups and the silver. There was no bowl that she mixed something in or beaters for the mashed potatoes. It wasn't anything like that. Mine I'm like the worst. If you're sitting at a table and you're eating chicken and you're like, oh, can I have a second piece? They give you chicken wing. By the time you barely get the chicken wing, the food is wrapped up, put in the fridge, and not discarded, but it was taken from the table. Because now it's been sitting out for 7 minutes or whatever. And they're going to be like, my mom's like, no, we are not getting food poisoning. It's like, it's been 7 minutes. Like, I didn't even finish, like, barely chewing my first plate of food. It's like, I haven't even had a chance to take a sip of water. And the only thing she would leave out would be the salad. Because she refused to put the salad away. She was like, she would never put the salad in the fridge. So the meat, the potatoes, and the extra bread. The tea, you take it out of the fridge, you pour it, you put it back. The milk, you take it out of the fridge, you pour it, you put it back. I used to go to church, and sometimes it was 2-3 hours that they had the creamer sitting out. And they're like, I was like, oh my god, you guys, isn't there a fridge out? So I was like, no, it's only out for a little while. You're stupid. And they're like, and you think, like, are you one of those people that keeps your refrigerator below 40? Because that's not necessary. It's just wasting energy. I'm like, I think my refrigerator is under 30. It's just to the spot where it's not freezing. Now, that is wasteful. I'm an earthy person. However, and I can't really change the knob on my thing. My house is really old, and everything is, like, they gave me these blinds. I cut my hand on them. Mine were nice and clean. I cut my hand on them. They're all bent up, and they fell apart. And my blinds were nice and clean, and they gave me this piece of crap. And I was like, if they didn't give me this piece of crap, they were going to charge me like 10, 11 bucks. I freaking don't have 10, 11 bucks. Like, I pay a lot of rent. Just give me the freaking blinds. Like, in fact, I'm going to ask the guy, but I don't know. This lady is speaking Spanish to him, and she is really disrespectful to the maintenance guy. So, I don't, like, and she would probably think that none of us can understand her. When I didn't know the lady next door, she's from Somalia very well. We were hanging out one day with the girls on the porch, and she speaks English. She went to school a little bit, so she reads and writes, I think, but they get really, really confused. Like, they'll tell me, no, you're wrong, this letter said this, you told the neighbor this, and then a week later, it's like, oh, haha, you were right, I got confused, we all got confused. So there's still issues, especially if your people around you are all speaking that language, that native language. If you're not keeping up with it a lot of people are keeping up because their kids speak English. They understand their native language, but some of the little kids can't speak it back. Yeah, so learning one at a time. They're basically growing up in this country learning English first, and then their native language, which I find, everyone's different. I find it very interesting to be able to have a conversation with a 4-year-old better than I can with their mom. And then have the middle child translate what I said to the 4-year-old to the mom, and then have the mom respond and have the middle child respond back in English that me and the little kid understand. Like, it's just a lot of back and forth. My parents' cars were very clean. There was never mold. I never heard of mold inside of a house. Never heard of mold. I mean, now I live in the Pacific Northwest, and you hear a lot of mold and black mold, and I never heard of, like, if we had mice in the basement, they didn't really do a lot about it. It was really scary. I saw one once upstairs, that's it. It was really scary. They had those decon traps, they didn't really, there was so much stuff. Me and my brother heard them in the ceilings, and we didn't really, I was scared, but when I was with my brother, which was rare, I wasn't scared. I was like, somebody's here bigger than me, you know. So I hated when these people talk about being civilized. Everything that I do now is pretty sloppy and my manners are pretty poor compared to what my parents were trying to instill in me. The politeness and the language and the use of grammar and my writing style, even in a quick email where you're running out the door, is critiqued like you wouldn't believe. Going out, even with a past your knee skirt without pantyhose, was very, very, like, turn around and get back in the house and go put some pantyhose on. Like, I didn't hear about tights. I heard about tights when I was really little, but then as I got older and lived out here, started going to church, I had a pair of pantyhose, and I put them on, and they fell off on the way to the car because they were either really dry rotted and or I was underweight because I had just gone through the homelessness and then nursing and homeless again. It was a mess. I was homeless while I was nursing, and I think they were dry rot, and they fell off. I had to take them off in the car, and I looked up, there's a security guard was standing there, and I was like, oh my God. He's like, there's just suspicious activity in here. Have you seen anything? I was like, no. I'm in this beat up car with 2 kids in car seats in the back. So I hate when people talk about civilized, because my mom's like, she would not eat food. She's like, people leave the potato salad out all night, or all day. People leave. My other relatives left, they would leave fried chicken out all night, which I thought was creepy. when I was in college, I'd fall asleep with pizza out and I'd eat it the next day. And I was like, oh my God. That was like the first time I was like, I didn't get sick. But it was only pizza. I'm not testing it with hamburger. I'm not testing it with anything else. Like really, really greasy pizza. That's how I went into food relapse last night. And this morning when I couldn't sleep, I want just a lot of pizza right now. Tons of cheese, tons of meat. I don't care. Like, I haven't eaten gluten, cheese, or meat. I can count when I stopped cheese. That was April 1st, 2000. The last day I had it was April 1st, 2017. So why am I saying this? I was thinking of people talking about who's civilized and who's not. And when you look at ancient history, a white guy reminded me. I was volunteering in a hospital. He was a visitor, a family member. He was saying, well, we are not too distant from barbarians and acting like that, and heathens and barbarians. And he was talking about basic Europe history. He was reading a bunch of books. Either they were historical fiction or history or fiction. I saw him a couple times. He had a bunch of books. And it raised a point. He's like, we're only like 1 or 2 generations for some of these countries from being barbarians walking around. You know, you show pictures of people in Africa walking around with a skirt, like men around with a loincloth. But then you could see pictures. Sometimes it's just, you see that in the magazines. It's like a powwow. When I go to powwow, I see them all dressed a certain way. They're not going to a grocery store like that. Stupid. Like, people just catch these people doing ceremonies or doing weddings or doing, like, I'm just like, you guys are complete idiots. And the loincloth is not much different than all these people wearing kilts here at the grocery store. All these men wearing kilts. Not much different. The article of clothing is civilized. A lot of people that are walking around barefoot on dirt floors in their houses, they freaking don't have a dime to buy a pair of flip-flops. Alright? Literally. Maybe less than a dime, American dime. Me and my kids have walked through our shoes to the bottom is worn. My dad has walked through his shoes when he was a kid. The bottom's worn right through. You don't have money. You don't have any resources. You don't have any hand-me-downs. And if you're like me, being charged a lot more money for your rent and for your everything you have than you should be. So what's the point of this? So I was just thinking, scratch all this stuff because this is making me all heated. You have to stay alive. And when I lived up north, you learn about industry, and I get a second wind when it gets dark early, and then I'm like up all night, like, oh shoot, I didn't take a cue from nature. If it was a the light bulb, is that a curse or a blessing? And I didn't even start with blue screen TVs, radios, or not radios. we need to find our radio. My daughter was like, we need that emergency kit when it actually works wrong. And computers and cell phones and tablets. So the thing I have to say right now is that I have the thing I have to say right now is I think that people that are from Nordic and from European, where it's cold and wet, damp, and there's farming and fresh milk and food and there's enough rain, there's not droughts, and they are able to keep up even canned goods, cooked food, sauerkraut, any kind of preservation of their food between 200-300 years ago, and now the ancient recipes, now you just use a machine and all this stuff, and it's like, what do you do if your family is from Africa or from Latin America, where the Europeans came in and pillaged and destroyed people and kicked them out of fertile lands and burned up all the trees and cut down all the grasses and took the places that had rivers and clean water and fishing and utilized that, the diamond mines and the gold mines and the sapphire mines, and kicked the people of color off. And people always write in comments, look what these people did. They destroyed Africa. Like, no, the Africans didn't destroy Africa. Read a history of what it was like. Look up archaeological digs of what it was like. Those people were kings and queens. Those people were wearing gold. Those people had empire. They had this type of people, like those lost cities. They had running water. They had sewage systems. They had sanitation. They had health. They had health workers. They had herbal people, midwives. They didn't just become millions of people with HIV and poverty and despair and orphan kids overnight. They had come from wealth, and they slowly were being consumed like the Native Americans. They kicked off their tribal lands and had all the resources stolen. When they use that as a holy place or a ceremonial gold or ceremonial diamond, it's not used as like, oh, everyone is getting married, everyone, their brother is getting diamonds and all this stuff. There's still people like, oh, we do reclaimed diamonds and reclaimed woods that we don't have to sustainably sought. And I find it interesting to see people being conscious about where they get their rings. And I also find it interesting that I wonder what energy you bring, but you could do ceremony. Speaking of ceremony, I gotta put this incense out. So keeping yourself alive when you're Mexican or you're black, it's harder when it's really hot in the middle of the day in your country. You gotta take that siesta. And if you're black, you're known in the past as doing plantation work. Other people got money in their pockets, nice clothes. And the Mexicans are known now as doing the hotel work, the digging, the yard work, all this tough factory work. The Africans do factory work. Not African Americans, Africans that immigrated here. These people are like going 12, 13, 15-hour shifts. Truck driving, laundry, daycare, all this stuff. But you still need, your body is like, can be in tune with nature and deal with the heat. Whereas white people are like, oh God, like, dude, it's 58 degrees. You have your air conditioner set on and you made it 61 in here, or you made it like 54 in here. So like, people are like, oh my God, like, and then they'll be wearing these polyester long sleeve with a jacket. Oh my God, and like these people be fanning me, and they'll bring like battery powered fans. I'm like, dude, I have a parka on and I'm freezing right now. I'm like, can you just like go in the bathroom and remove some of your layers, or like wrap them around my head because you're giving me a cold. I'm like, like I'll be sneezing, and you're like, it's 50 freaking something degrees outside. It's not, you're not dying inside of a church or something. And they're cranking out the AC. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you guys need to learn to dress. Like, wear something natural, wear short sleeve, wear freaking sleeveless, and a pair of khaki shorts or a skirt that's not like a lot, winter pants I'd wear that are lined. I wore my geeky wool with lined pants the other day. It was freezing. But if I'm going to go out into these places in the summer, I'll wear the same things. So I'm going to go outside when there's no air conditioning, I'm going to wear shorts. Or if I want to be more modest or dressy, I'm going to wear a dress or something that is made of light fiber, like silk or linen. Even linen's heavy, but it breathes. And I just don't understand. You say, oh my God, it's so hot. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm freezing. They're like, oh, you're the only one here. I'm like, I'm also the only person of color. Like, I have been cold my whole life. Like, you need to move. Everyone, all the white was like, you need to get out of this country. Like, they always tell me. I'm like, I have nowhere to go. I was like, I'm sure you could find some not so distant relatives that are still in a European country. Like, for me, we've been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's like telling these people from this program, these Asians and these Hispanics, oh, you've been here for the past 24 years. You came here when you were 2. Now we're going to send you to Mexico or China. Like, dude, we don't know the language or the culture. We have no documents from there. We don't know anyone here. And it's just like, why are you telling me that? Like my kids and myself are part Native American. It's like, why don't we just, for me and my kids, like, why don't we just stay here and claim our land back, or help other Native Americans? They won't take my help. They look at me as a threat, or like it's like they only see black people on the news. The natives that I know. Some natives, they're like, oh, you're really smart. You're really good at diet. How do you keep your health? None of my people keep our health. They said, can you please come to the reservation and teach us about health? I said, yeah. If I can get over there, I can get someone to hook me up, I will. Send me over there. But so far, I haven't been able to go. I haven't been able to get involved. When it's hot, those people are hot, and I'm cold, so I bring a coat. But I kind of secretly say they should dress for the weather. Now, they're hot. Look what happened in Florida. Those people died in a nursing home from overheating. So I'm not trying to discount it, but that's the reason the siesta happens during that time of day, they lay down and they stop moving. And they say, oh my God, why are you drinking hot tea or hot cocoa? Are you stupid? Sweat is a natural cooling defense. You heat, you push it. You eat hot cocoa with hot pepper in it, and you push yourself a little bit, stimulus. And then you're sweating, and people think, oh, I'm in a perspirant, I'm not going to sweat. But you would naturally want to sweat because then you're cold. Your body's cold. I eat cold foods. I eat hot, spicy stuff. I eat warm drinks year round, and I eat cold food, as in raw foodist. So when I say cold food in Chinese, it's like what is, stuff that feels cold, even setting out. Watermelon. Nuts feel kind of warm when they're setting out. So you gotta stay alive, and if your history and your body is telling you you need heat, or you need a sweater, or you need this, or most of the people are white, so they're cranking up the AC, you gotta wear a parka and a scarf year round, And then they get too hot in the summer, and you're like, okay, now, or in the winter, you're like, okay, you have the heat way too hot and way too dry, and nobody's drinking any water, and then I think people are just get those chronic disease. Somebody's like, oh, I had this back thing, and all I needed, my doctor said one of the big things to help cushion was just literally drinking water. But instead of drinking water, they went and got tens of thousands of dollars worth of injections and table treatments and all this stuff. And I was like, really? Like tilt table? I was like these people drink out of tap too. I would be like, I'm drinking water. I don't care if it's nasty, or I will buy a filter or some other kind of water, like fizzy water. I would be like, that would be a lot cheaper. Spend a couple bucks a week versus, several hundred to $1,000 a week. There's some like $1,000 a week. But that's their choice. They have the money to do it. And some people really can't drink water. So it's all your prerogative. And sometimes I think for me it's hard to drink a lot because I had to use the pee. It goes in one out the other. I have to go to the bathroom. So I was really sick last night. My daughter got a ride home, and I was like writhing, and I was about to call her and be like, give me my garbage can, I'm about to puke. I thought I was going to puke. I felt like I had food poisoning, and I ate some juice that was cold pressed, and I ate these crackers that were associated with coconut, so I probably triggered something. When I eat the foods that I have in my own cabinet, I don't get sick like that. So I was really freaking out. I need to tell you this because it's been more than 30 minutes. So everyone is different, and I don't say that to those people to their face, but I say each their own. If you're hot and I'm cold, don't make fun of me. Do I go and tell you right now you're an idiot because you're hot, because you're sitting in the sun? I was like, I'm hot. Like, try having black hair and dark skin and being part Irish and getting a burning sunburn in like 15 minutes. It's like, they're like, no, you don't get a sunburn. You're black. I was like, shh, I'm a human. Hot? If I burn my hand on a stove, ouch. If I'm from a warm place, I'm out in the sun a lot year round, then I'm less likely to get it. Or anyone, it doesn't matter what. Even if you're a redhead, if you're exposed to it, it's not as. It can still be damaging, but it's not as like shock to the system. And we're inside a house. We're not out gardening. We're not out feeding the cows in the middle of winter. My vitamin D was almost 0. I was like really scared. I don't know what it is. I don't have a doctor. Nobody would see me. Last time I tried to make an appointment with my primary care, she pretty much dismissed me. So I was like, I'm like, I was hoping that some of my colleagues that I graduated with, I was like, dude, your clinic's not far from mine. Oh my God, give me a call. I need to find out your information, or tell me when you take this kind of insurance because me and my kids need a primary care. I never got any. No, I was like begging people that were new in practice. I was like, please, can I hire you? They're just like, blew me off. I tried to rent people's cabins when I had money in the past, and they refused. So I ended up having to go to hotels and be overcharged. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, they're trying to think that I'm trying to get a free night. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to get a free or discount. I just wanted to share my money with a business that's local and that I know the owners, and that I heard you have a good reputation. Like, that's why I wanted. Like, I like to do that, and nobody here likes to do that. So I don't know if it's the whole world, the whole country, or the Pacific Northwest. I think a lot of it has to do with racism and stereotypes. I could be standing here with a suitcase full of gold bars, and people will say, and diamonds that I own. People will say, "Oh my God, be careful! That lady might steal your $200 purse. Be careful! Lock your car right away. That black lady over there." I could be sitting there with it open and be like, "I own this. This is worth over $1 million. Let's just pretend." And like, hey, I don't need your stinky used $200 purse. It's like, if you were nice, maybe I'd give you one of my diamonds, you know. I was at the mall today, mall walking, and these people were opening up. My daughter was there, and they were like, between there and Winkle, people were like cutting me off and giving me the scowl. Like this young woman in the mall was giving me the scowl. I was like, I'm not going to shop in your store. I was like so rude in my thinking. I used to just be like, oh well. But I feel like I had to remember when I cut people off in traffic, my business name is on the back of my car. So you have to remember what you're representing when you're at a place, when you're volunteering, when you're working, when your family is going out in public or in the house. And so the scowl was really like, it was almost like, oh my God, this person is a bother. She looks suspicious. I better hurry up and unlock the door and get in and shut it before she tries to rob me. Like, that's the kind of look. It's like part of fear and part of like mother bear. I feel threatened by this predator. I need to bare my teeth and let her know who's boss. Like, that's the type of looks I get frequently. And when it's other people like that, they also become the type of people that um, are like sabotage. They sabotage your life. I got grease on my pants for the first time. Kind of mad. They sabotage your life. We had this thing that kept getting propped up on my cart, and I realized the other day that it was a broken thing of detergent that was open, and somebody had propped it right above where my head is, and it was dangling over the edge. And that to me is not just for, where I go, other people go there, but mainly where I stand. And all you have to do is pick up a box or do something like that, and you just dump that crap in your eye and all over yourself. I had the same thing happen with bleach. I've had the same thing with people throwing wooden pieces of broken pallet hurling it across the store or in the back of the Fred Meyer. And I literally ducked, or else it would hit me in the eye and the face. I had somebody prop this one thing up. It almost fell on me. It almost fell right across my face. It was super sharp. I would have been completely disfigured. It was a slight. I don't know how I knew that it was falling. Thank God for martial arts class. It was so close to my face. I would have had to call 911. I would have been sliced. I probably would have had teeth knocked out. It was like 10 feet tall. This big, heavy metal sharp thing. And I was like freaking out. And I go to these places and I think, don't judge somebody for not thinking. Don't judge someone because they don't think of physics of what could happen if you prop something that's not supposed to be propped. And it was propped behind the doors behind the grocery store that go open and close both ways. It was like propped right behind one of the doors. And something else was like that. Somebody propped something or cart behind one of those. And I think I tried to walk in there and I walked into it. You couldn't see it. The cart was behind the door. I walked into the door, didn't open, and I was like, crap. I cut my leg yesterday at the same place. Somebody threw a bunch of crap on my cart and I went to move it, which is not my job, and I walked into a sharp piece of metal that was right next to my cart. And I cut my leg open and I took pictures and I was like, dude, I'm getting out of here because it smells like chemicals. And there was flies everywhere. And there was dirty mop buckets, and there was rotting food, rotting beverages, and the thing that were there when I was there last weekend, and maybe the weekend before. When I first started, there was a mop bucket that had flies in it, and it was there for 2 months. or more right next to my car, and I was paranoid that my purse was going to fall in there or my coat. I was like, I'm new here. Am I supposed to touch this? What is this? This is nasty. And I'd see stuff like that, like broken glass and nasty stuff from the bathroom. I finally dumped it in the sink. I was like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to dump this, but I was afraid that either my product or my purse or my coat or my hat was going to fall in there. And it was a cesspool. Flies were laying eggs. It was so it was nasty, moldy, mildewy. And it's not my business. I'm not clean. I'm not that clean but if it is involving other people, I need to work on it. So that's why I try to work in my house. The second thing I want to talk about, and I'm super hungry. My video yesterday, my stomach was growling the whole time. I'm going to make it a part 2. I'm going to go get some more almonds, and some hazelnuts. I'm going to mix them and see if that's nasty or not. I was reading the news last night about North Korea and Trump and them sending these tweets and stuff back and forth. And I'm uncomfortable. I looked at land to buy. I'm like, I don't care. There was a house that was less than 300. It's only 2 bedrooms, just near here. And I thought to myself, I just want to buy this house. It said if you had 48,000, it'd be like 800 a month. Now I have 48,000. But I thought to myself, if I had bought a house like that like 7, 8 years ago, it would probably be like 600 a month. With the money, I had money for down payment back then, but it wouldn't have been. It would have been 10% because houses back then were still going for 200,000, so it would have been 20,000, between 10 and 20,000. Even at a first-time homeowner's loan, if I try to still do a down payment and have good credit history and no student loans on my repay record. But yeah, I was like, I want to just buy land either in Washington or here within 2 hours north and just freaking start doing freaking bunker, dude. I am like not comfortable with people's hands on the nuke button. I don't know if they redid it this morning, if the news was replayed. I read the headlines about Trump doing the the B-1B or something, bombers. I don't know. I know they were doing it last night before I went to bed. It was like 3 hours or 6 hours prior to me watching the video. It was posted 6 hours prior to that. And now I'm really scared because I'm like, wondering, Obama did that too. He put the B-51 bombers. So they basically, I think they flew north into South Korea, as north as they could go. And this guy, had done that missile over Japan, and that set off all of their alerts, their war alerts, and it set off everyone's cell phone warning, basically like a war. But it went over Japan and into the ocean. And what's weird, all these earthquakes are happening, and then they supposedly have that testing underground. I think that was the H-bomb one. So then I also read that Iran is breaking some rules about testing their own nukes. And what I don't understand is why these people's advisors aren't saying, you need to shut the heck up. Yeah, because they're complaining you're hurting innocent people because you guys are calling each other names and someone's about to nuke the other person, destroy the world. They're not just going to destroy us. They're going to destroy their own atmosphere, their own air, their own oceans. So I don't think I have it anymore. I had read the book On the Beach when I was a kid. I know that it's fiction. I didn't know it was that popular. I had that book. My son had it for the library. I think I had to take it back really fast. But I can't breathe. I got to put this thing out. I'm at the point where I keep buying groceries. I don't have money. I started buying my son a little bit of canned food. It's still expensive. It'd be a lot cheaper to make it from scratch. It's like fabric though. Sometimes it's not. It's like cheaper just to buy a hoodie than it is to go make it from fleece from yourself, zipper and all the yarn and all the stuff you need. And not even including if you have to use a pattern. I've gotten the animals, their stuff. I've gotten only a couple of things of gallons of bottled water. I have a couple that are stored. When we had the water out, I just took the stuff for the recycling. Not enough for any more than like less than 72 hours if we had to use that for like washing things, but not a ton. Because everyone in this household will drink water, and it's not just being put in a closet and left. The bottled water, the tap water, actually was used to clean something yesterday. So I think the big thing here is someone else in control. And what would happen? What if I stockpiled and I'm at the gas station or I'm at work? There's not going to do me any good. I won't be able to reach my supplies. Will my son be here? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he's not his teacher. What if we all get nuked and we just die? But at the same time, what if something happens and someone throws out our communications, our electricity, or our gas stations? And I'm like a little bit paranoid. Because I think China was supposed to, I can't remember, and don't quote me on this. I thought China, we're messing with China, saying we're not going to help you if you're going to be friends with North Korea. Like, you need to shut off all trade and this and this and this. So I don't know much about North Korea except for it's very, very controlling. I don't know about the personal people that live there. I never really see pictures of children. You know, it's kind of like the Hitler-style pictures, like tons of people lined up, you know, shouting with their hand in the air, and that was scaring me. But I don't want somebody to escalate the situation because I know I can't tell you because I actually been to White House. I'm sure they wouldn't tell me this. You watch the movies, the science fiction movies, or the Christian movies, or whatever, apocalyptic movies, where the White House, there's a missile coming in the U.S. to Washington, D.C., and the president ends up in a bunker. So if this dude freaking shoots off a freaking missile to D.C. or anywhere, the president and his family is going to be in a freaking bunker, dude. They're going to be like, oh, well, we'll just live in here for eternity, you know, with all of our stuff, with all of our food and all of our preps. Well, the rest of us will end up, like, freaking, like, you know, contaminated and dying and without food and without clean water and that radiation dust and all that. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just, I feel like the people that have a hand on the buttons have the resources to hide from the radiation. It's not saying that it'll pass, like, not Fukushima, but Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you know, and that kind of stuff devastates people, and that stuff passes, and people kind of forget about it, even accidents, you know, about Fukushima and Hanford site, all that stuff, like, oh, oopsie, look what happened, we're measuring levels, oh, it's bad. So now me and my kids, all the Pacific Northwest, are exposed to the Fukushima in the ocean coming, you know, I've on an ocean once since then. And I used to, I don't know if I'm scared to go. I know I don't go because I'm tired. Let me get my snack. I'm going to push stop. Bye.